Coming up, I start working on an epic diamond factory which includes a brand new type of super fast cobblestone generator, a dirt farm and a mud farm too. I also do a whole bunch of landscaping around the area. Let's create a diamond factory. I don't actually need one. In my backpack, I've already got over 60 blocks of diamonds, and it's ridiculously easy on this Create mod pack to just go mining with my huge mining drill, and get loads more. But a few episodes ago, I asked you guys what you wanted to see me build in this world, and an overwhelming number of you said you wanted to see me build a diamond factory. So I ended up fiddling with my own mod in order to create a process that's so convoluted and awkward that it makes diamonds in what I consider to be a fun way, and realistically not too overpowered way too. Now, the reason I'm heading over here is because in the last episode we built this copper factory that basically takes all of the cobble out of my system and all of the quartz out of my storage system and turns it into copper, via means of turning it into diorite first, then andesite, then making tuff, and then crushing that tuff. And it's been working. It's been running for a couple of days, however, we still don't have all that much copper because we've completely run out of cobble. Last time I looked in my inventory, we had over 1 million cobblestone, and now we don't have any. We also had nearly 2 million nether quartz, and now we've got less than 1 million. So that now means I'm hardly producing any diorite. We've got a reasonable amount of andesite now, and we've got a reasonable amount of tuff. As I'm sure a whole bunch of you watching this will know, I've already got a couple of massive cobble generators in this world, so why have we got no cobble? I mean, in this factory alone, we've got this absolutely ginormous thing which has stopped running because it's got so much cobblestone in it, nearly 90,000. So why can't we use this cobblestone? We can. I've just got to get this cobblestone out of here somewhere useful. At the moment, all this is being used for is to either turn it into quartz and gold up here, which we could really do with the quartz, but this is not running anymore for some reason, and it's also getting turned into iron downstairs by means of being turned into gravel first, and this is not running for some reason. In fact, it all says it's overstressed, and that's because of a problem that I've had to deal with on this mod pack for the last few, well, months, I guess, since I updated all of the mods a while ago. We've had all these problems where things like this, they just don't pull in water anymore, and that just, well, stops everything from going. And because this is a self-powered boiler, even when I fix the water issue, it doesn't actually start up again. So I'm going to have to do this one manually. And after a little bit of fiddling about later, we've now got a big old water wheel powering the pumps in here, which is... oh, geez. Oh. There appears to be more than one problem in here. Pardon? What? Why is that all just going on the floor? Oh, well, I might as well collect all of this cobblestone. And all of this cobblestone, which is now just... oh, all my belts are... oh, speed. It's going the wrong way, apparently. Suddenly, all of a sudden, this is all going backwards. Let's have it going the right way, shall we? There we go. Put a gearbox in there. That should get everything spinning around the right way now. And fixing all of this up, I have discovered that there's a belt in my hands now. So somewhere along here, we should have had a belt which attaches to things. Now we... oh, I see. There's power over there. Yeah, oh, that's how we're getting the cobble. Yeah, okay. Right. So we need a belt on... here. Why have we got two bits of shaft there? I'm very confused right now, but I guess that we need that bit of shaft there and a belt on there. But that looks like it's going the wrong way. Let's check all of the belts in here. These should all be speed controls, so they should be going the right way. They are. That's good. Is this all going the right way, or is it going the wrong way? That's all going the right way, so we're now producing gravel again, so that's good. Okay then, in that case, all we need to do is get rid of that gearbox, put that there, and that should get that belt going the right way. Yes, it is doing good. So I can put that funnel back up there, that can fill into those, and all of those items should be able to go down along here and into the storage system, at least I think. Oh no, these are going into the andesite system, so that cobble's not going anywhere particularly useful other than getting turned into andesite. But at least now the quartz has now kicked in, so we're generating golden quartz again, so that's good, and that should also mean that the iron system downstairs has kicked in, so let's go and check that out. Yes, this is all working now as well. So now that we're generating vast quantities of cobblestone again, how am I going to get them out of here and over to where we need them? Well, we just need them moving to our main storage system. And our main storage system is connected to the storage building in this area over here through a quantum link. So all I should need to do is get that cobblestone into here somehow. And it looks like we've already got a whole bunch of it in here, but it is going down again. And all of this is connected underground to all of the other farms via means of many conveyors. And as you can see, we're already getting the quartz and the andesites and the clay and the gold coming through this way. So we just need to get cobble onto that belt as well, I guess. Currently, our iron, quartz, gold, flint and clay all come down through these storage drawers and onto this belt here, which goes back to the storage system. So all I gotta do is get another few belts and things linked up to that from our cobblestone thing here. And in fact, instead of having chutes and conveyors, what we're gonna do is just use our storage drawer system like we normally do. So what we're gonna have here is a controller there, one of those there. That'll get the cobble into that. We've just got to connect that to those other storage drawers now. To bring it across here like this a little bit. And then we should start getting cobble going into there as well and onto that. There we go. Wow, look at that. Loads of cobble. But we don't want to drain all of the cobble out of the system to go into there, because then we'll have no cobble, which won't be ideal. So what we're going to do is stick another threshold switch on here with a redstone link on it, and we're going to say if there's more than 90% of this filled with cobblestone, then send a signal through that. And then what we'll do is we'll receive that signal over here, and this won't let anything through that chute unless there's more than 90% of it in there, but we do need to invert this signal. There we go. So that's not letting anything out of there now until this is full. Which brings us back to the copper factory, which should now have cobblestone in it and should be able to start producing all of those things again. And I got some comments about these crafters. Apparently, if I have them all facing down on the top row and then across on the bottom row, well, that should mean they work a whole lot better. So let's find out. Let's remove that. It's exactly the same, I think. I don't think it makes any difference. So it's going down, across, and craft. Whereas how I had it before, it goes across and down and craft. So we're all kicked back into gear again. We should start producing some more copper over here and diorite. So with the copper factory now sorted, we can go and concentrate on this diamond factory. And of course, we're building that at completely the opposite end of this area, behind the library, near the netherite factory, near the create factory, at the end of this road here on that platform that I haven't built yet. So I've got a little bit of terraforming to do and a little bit of block placing. So not too long later, we've now got a big old platform for a big old factory. We've got a yard, we've even got a lava system here, and I've already got the lorry coming in to deliver the lava to this system, which means we've got nearly a full tank of it. Now, I might need the biodiesel over here as well at some point, but I'm hoping we can get away with blaze cakes, which we've got 89,000 of, and we're producing even more of those over at the snowy area when I turn that on. So that leads to how we're actually going to create diamonds, and for that I've created this amazing factory diagram, and it's quite a complicated procedure, all starting with cobblestone. So we're going to take the cobble, crush it down into gravel. We're going to take half of that gravel, we're going to crush it down into sand, wash it into clay balls, compact them into clay blocks, turn those into terracotta, turn that into red sand, and get dead bushes, which is going to create thatch. We're then going to age some of that thatch with some XP nuggets into aged thatch. Then we're going to age it even more into old thatch using XP nuggets. And then we need mud, which we're going to get from creating dirt. We're going to need a dirt factory in this factory. And the way you get dirt is basically by making coarse dirt and hoeing it, and you actually get more dirt back from the dirt you put in. So basically, we're going to take some of that gravel, crush it down, combine it with some dirt we've already got, turn that into coarse dirt, and then process that back into dirt with a hoe, and then go back round to the gravel. And we're going to continue that little circuit there, slowly but surely filling us up with dirt. And once we've got plenty of dirt, we can then wash that with a bit of water into some mud, and then we can combine that with our old thatch into mulch. So mulch is basically just bits of sticks and mud and stuff stuck together. The kind of stuff that many millions of years ago could sort of maybe a bit have been used to create coal. Although coal was technically made from wood, so we're going to ignore that completely and carry on. The mulch is then going to be turned into compressed mulch. That's going to then be turned into aged compressed mulch with some more XP, and then we're going to put some lava on that to turn it into one piece of coal, which we then need 9 of to turn into a coal block. That coal block block's then going to be superheated with either diesel or blaze cakes into a hot coal block, and then that's going to be compressed down into coal blocks using lava and presses. And then we're going to convert that into rough diamonds, which then with a bit of sandpaper will turn it into diamonds. So yeah, a big old complicated thing that we've got to build that includes various farms, including dirt farms, sand farms, gravel farms, terracotta. Geez, we've got a lot to squeeze in this area, which is why I've built such a big platform, and we're probably going to need multiple floors. Obviously, we're going to start at the bottom with as many processes we can fit in there and work our way upwards. And we're going to start with cobblestone generation and probably the mud farm. So starting with cobblestone, there's a few ways that we can create it. We can have a static system with drills with lava and water near it, which generates cobble and then breaks it. We can have one on a contraption like we saw earlier in Hill Valley, or we can even use a mixing bowl with lava and water in there to create cobblestone. And we've got one of those mixing bowl setups over here in the netherite factory, and it's the least laggy of all of the systems, but it does use a whole lot of lava, which means we're going to go through our lava very quickly. But as you can see, this process just stirs the lava and the water together and generates cobblestone. And considering my little lava truck doesn't come down here very often filling up that lava tank, it's probably not going to be the best system for doing that. So I think that leaves us with either a stationary system or a moving system on a contraption. That takes me to my test world. And here we are, just like that. So these two systems here don't require any more lava than the stuff that you already put in there. This one is just a mechanical drill version. It's got a chute underneath, putting all of the cobble into that barrel, and this is only, of course, one cobblestone generator, which is relatively slow and does require a bit of power. Whereas this one on this contraption requires no power at all and is a little bit faster, generating us a whole bunch more. But that's because we've got 4 cobblestone generators instead of just 1. So now this one has 4 generators on it, and it is substantially quicker than that one, and that's because these drills are on max speed, whereas that one, although it requires no power, the drills run a lot more slowly because it's on a contraption. But power's cheap in Create. But what I'd really like to know is, can we scale this one vertically, because horizontal space is going to be expensive for us in this build. And in terms of expanding vertically, there's no reason on this one why we couldn't have drills just fixed in place instead of a contraption breaking those. The only problem there is actually collecting the items. You see, we don't want the items ending up being burnt in the lava or floating up the water to the top. And with Create on its own, that could be a bit of a problem. But fortunately for us, we've got a whole bunch of other mods we can play with that'll help us out with this. And one of those is the sophisticated backpacks. If we put a magnet upgrade in that, you'll see it'll just suck out all of the cobblestone from that range without us having to do anything at all, and then we can just put a chute underneath that, and we could then put all of that cobble directly into a barrel or something like that, meaning that we can just build this vertically upwards as tall as we wanted, or at least within range of this backpack. But what is the range? Let's find out. So the range on this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks by the looks of things. It'll pick up from there, but it won't pick up from there. So we could only really do this 5 blocks tall from the backpack, but if the backpack was, let's say, in the middle of all of this, then we could go 5 blocks below or 5 blocks above. So I think something like this is going to be our best way forward. So there we go. Now we've got a double system for generating cobblestone with a backpack in the middle that's linked to this new set of storage drawers with cobblestone in it. So if I put this chain drive in here, that should all start to activate, and we should start getting a whole bunch of cobblestone being generated in there. And that's going nice and quickly, and hopefully all of it's going into this backpack. Let's just check that out. Nothing at all in there, but oh, there we go. Look, it's going immediately into there, and that's generating a whole bunch of cobblestone nice and quickly. But how fast? And the answer is flies. Clear off. Why is there always flies? The answer is 48,600 an hour. That's a good amount of cobblestone to be getting. Now, are we getting any left over in the backpack? We're not. Good. That's not backing up. And is there any kicking about on the floor anywhere? Oh, no, there are other items that I've dropped in there. But it doesn't look like we're getting cobble in there. So it looks like it's all working rather nicely. So we've done one thing of our incredible big plan thing that we've got to do. Now I need to get that cobble, crush it into gravel, and then split that in 2 different directions. How hard could it be? What could possibly go wrong? 1 cobblestone crusher, 2 cobblestone crushers. And what's nice about this is this one goes that way and that one goes that way, and it's very compact and tidy. It just needs a bit of power. Then we'll throw a little bit of chain drive in there. sneak this one down that way a little bit, and hopefully they're going in the right direction, but it's very difficult to tell. It is. We've got gravel. Excellent. Oh, well, that was easy. Jeez. There we go. Mini gravel going in, which means we're not going to have many cobblestone. In fact, it looks like we're using more cobblestone than we're making, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but that could... might as well have them going at a similar speed. If we're generating 20 cobblestone at once, maybe if we just set that one to 10, and then we set this one to 10, and then we got 10 on each one, will that keep up now? So if that number goes up or stays about the same, then we're winning. And it looks like it's staying about the same, so that's good for me. In fact, it's going up slightly, which is also a good thing. Excellent, we've got those matched. Good. So dirt farm, and then sand, clay, terracotta. Oh, I think we'll do the dead bushes first, because that should be nice and easy. And here's a little system to visualize what we're going to be doing here. We're basically taking the gravel, crushing it into sand, washing it into clay, compacting it into clay blocks, blasting it into terracotta, crushing it into red sand, and washing that into dead bushes. And we'll get a bit of flint and gold from this as well. And I'm just going to set that up back here, and I've built loads of these before, so if you want to see the build process of this, then I guess you go back to my earlier videos on this series and check those out. So this little crushing system here, I've just extended from that one to keep things nice and compact, and that's just going to take the gravel and turn it into sand, and we'll get some clay and maybe even flint, I think, from that. So let's just plug that in and find out. And over at my storage drawers, we've got a few new slots for things, and as you can see, the sand's going in there nice and quickly. And yes, we're getting flint from that as well, and clay. Good. Okay, next process. So this little system here should take sand from there and wash it into clay balls. We've got some fans at the back here, which are going to be powered by this, and that's basically all it needs. Although, this system so far, I don't have any power to that belt. So let's just stick another shaft in there, get rid of that shaft, put some chain drive there, and then finish that off there, and I'm getting sucked into it. It's going the wrong way round. But apart from the fact that it's going the wrong way round, I shouldn't be getting sucked into that at all. Well, let's fix the direction, and we'll do that by sticking a gearbox in there, which is now going to... It shouldn't be pushing me. There's copycat pack. Maybe they need covers in to stop it from pushing me. Yeah, that's better. Okay, fair enough. But now we need power to the belt. So I guess we'll just get rid of that one there and then stick those there. And there we go. Now we're getting sand washed into clay as well. Excellent. And this system's just about in place now. We've got our clay blocks on there. We've got the terracotta on there. We've got the fans blowing in the right direction. We just need a gearbox in here. That should make the belt go the right way round. It is. Now we've got clay on there, and that should hopefully get turned into terracotta. Oh, this is good. Are we going to get any in there? There we go. 2 stacks of it already. Nice. And just moving our little blaster across a few blocks to make ourselves a bit of space in here, we've now got the crushing system that's crushing the terracotta down into the red sand. So we should now be getting some red sand over here as well, which we are. Excellent. So now just dead bushes. And that's just washing the red sand, and we're going to get gold too. And with this final washing machine here, our dead bush processing plant is complete, and it's not too big. All of that just for dead bushes at the moment, and all this is doing is it's taking that red sand, and we've got a filter on there saying not red sand, so when that washes down we'll get gold and dead bushes. But there's only a 5% chance to get a dead bush from washing red sand, which means it's going to take around about 20 pieces of red sand in order to get one dead bush. So this isn't going to be the most fastest system in the world, but wow, we're already getting a bunch. We've already got 44 of them, and we're getting a whole bunch of gold as well. So all of this is working nicely. We've hardly got any gravel left. We've got loads of cobble, so we can speed that up a bit if we need to. We've got loads of sand, and yeah, that's all going into this. So that's basically this entire bottom section of this done already. That'll take us to thatch, which we're not ready for yet, because next we need a dirt farm. Well, technically we need a mud farm, but in order to do that we need to make a dirt farm. And we need to consider numbers, because there's no point having a dirt farm that makes way more dirt than we can use. And considering how slowly we're getting these dead bushes through, we don't need a very big dirt farm. Back in my test world, I think a little system like this might work, and this might look really complicated and like a bit of a mess, but we can tidy it up. Basically, what we've got here is gravel from an infinite supply in this creative crate, and that just reflects the gravel we're making from our cobblestone generator. We've got a handful of dirt to get us started off with, and we've got no coarse dirt at all. Over here, we've got a system that's going to craft coarse dirt from that handful of dirt we've already got in our infinite gravel supply. That just needs power. And then coming around here, we've got a deployer that's going to take coarse dirt, place it there. This plow's going to turn it into dirt. It's going to detect that it's been turned, push it across, and that drill's going to break it and put the dirt back in the system. And the reason this should work is that when you craft coarse dirt, it only costs you 2 pieces of dirt, but you get 4 pieces of coarse dirt. So when you turn those back into dirt, you've now got 4 pieces of dirt to make more coarse dirt. So you should end up being dirt rich. So the only way to find out is to power this mechanical crafter with a little bit of this power just here like this. That's going to start crafting us up some coarse dirt, which should make its way back into the system. It isn't doing because it's all going into the deployer. Yeah, the deployer's getting some coarse dirt in there now. That's good. So now all we need is a little thing on there, and you can see this in action. So the coarse dirt gets placed, it gets turned into dirt and farmland apparently, but that's fine. It gets broken and it goes in the system. So we should start accumulating more dirt than we're using just here. And there you go. You can see we've already got more than a stack in there now. Now, of course, the other way we could do this is with a deployer and a hoe. And that would probably be a much smaller system, but then we're going to have to keep replacing the hose because of the durability. So this is just infinitely renewable. And if we look at this now, we've got over 80 dirt in there. And with this last gearbox here, that should be everything done. We're now crafting coarse dirt, thanks to this mechanical arm and this amazing crafter. And now we're deploying the coarse dirt. We're breaking it, and this backpack should be picking it up, but apparently it's not. Oh, and that's because we seem to be getting coarse dirt down here as well as dirt. So I need to update the filter for that to allow it to pick up coarse dirt too. But I don't really want coarse dirt there, so why is that happening? There we go. That's a better rhythm. So putting that on 8 ticks seems to stabilize that a lot. I put a stack of dirt into the system and we've already got a whole bunch. Excellent. Dirt machine done. But we need mud, not dirt. And the problem is, if I then take all of that dirt to make mud, we're not going to craft any more. So I need to be very careful with the quantities here. I also need to be careful with the quantities of gravel and make sure that we're actually getting plenty in here and not just all of it being turned into sand. And one of the ways I've done that is to limit these crushing wheels to 10 at a time, because we're processing 20 gravel at a time from our cobblestone making machines. So while they're only processing 10, we've got 10 more that can go through this. So hopefully with that, we shouldn't... Yeah, we are using all of the gravel, and this machine's got plenty of it by the looks of things. It doesn't look like it's ever run out of gravel, so that's good. So mud then. Well, we've already got a little mud making machine way over the other side of our platformy area, right over at the liquid storage building. Oh, geez, it's not even rendered in. It's so far away, right over there in that corner. And that's where I've been getting all the mud from in order to make these tarmac roads and areas around of our factories. So I do come in here relatively regularly, and it's just in here, and it's just past these little tables, which I used to actually turn the mud into the rough mud for the roads. And in here it is. I just dump a load of dirt in there, it adds water to it from this infinite water source, and it turns it into mud. And this is much bigger than I think it needs to be. So let's go make a smaller one. And here we are, a little mud machine, and it's not tiny, but it's not too massive. We've got our mixer above our bowl, we've got a little water source down there with the pump bringing it up, we've got dirt that's going to come out of here, and the mud is going to go in there, which means we need a space for mud in our storage system. At the moment, I've got it set up so that it'll only actually send any dirt through if we've got enough in that drawer over there. So as you can see, nothing's coming through. And that's because we've mainly got coarse dirt rather than dirt. And that's because we're crafting our coarse dirt a whole bunch quicker than we're turning it back into dirt, which is not a bad thing to do, but I could really do with this coming through a little bit faster, but it's fine. Anyway, I'm just going to turn this down a little bit now, just so that we can actually get it running. If it's more than there and less than there, and then that should kick in, and there we go. You can see the dirt coming through out of there, it's getting turned into mud inside of there, and it's coming out as mud there, which means we're now making mud. Excellent. Oh, good. That means we've now done the majority of what we needed to do on this factory diagram, which means we've literally just got this top line left. And that is thatch, XP, bit of coal, bit of diamond, maybe some blaze cakes. Easy. We got so much space. I can't believe I've done all of that. All of that in this tiny little area here. Talk about compact. Jeez. Mate, I thought we was going to need like several layers of this factory. I don't think we're going to even use half of that. Maybe I could have made it bigger and even faster. But I don't want too many diamonds, mate. Wonder what to do with them. And just when you think everything's running swimmingly, there's always a problem. And you might not be able to spot it instantly because it's working at the moment, but if I go away from this stupid plow and just well, not even unload it because it's in force loaded chunks, but if I just step away from it for a minute and then head back over to it, no, it's working again now. Well, it keeps forgetting that it's a plow and it keeps not tilling this dirt, which is a bit of a problem because without that, we got no mud. And without mud, we got no diamonds. So I need a new system. So the way I've resolved this silly little problem is to take away the contraption and add in a sticky mechanical piston with a plough on it and a drill underneath. And with a little bit of a clock going on there that's not too fast, otherwise this gearbox pops off because that makes sense. This system now ploughs, then drills it immediately, which means that when the deployer places it, it really doesn't have very long before it gets turned into dirt and then, well, broken, and then it all ends up in the system. What it does mean is this is a little bit far away from there now, not really optimizing our space very much, but it seems to be working. And in the whole time that this thing has been running, we've managed to amass a whole 446 dead bushes, which equates to about 49 blocks of thatch. And if we go back to our diagram over here, that's not very many coal. In fact, it's 49 pieces of coal, which is 5.5 coal blocks, which means that's 5.5 diamond. Yeah, so it's been a couple of hours and we've generated effectively 5 diamonds worth, which doesn't seem quite right because we're generating way more cobble than anything else. So I think what we need to do is get these things sped up so we can burn through our cobble a bit faster. And I'm just going to allow as much cobble through on these as they can handle, and that should speed up the amount of gravel coming through, that should speed up the amount of sand coming through, and that should make it does have a few more dead bushes because we don't need cobble. We need dead bushes. So letting this thing run for a few minutes, as you can see, we're slowly chewing through that cobblestone. But we're now accumulating gravel, which means we're not turning it into sand fast enough, and we're not turning the sand into red sand and terracotta fast enough. And that means we need more crushing wheels for the sand, and we probably need a better washing machine system and a better blow drying machine. Blasting machine, that's what I'm on about. But I've had enough fiddling about with factories for the minute because I've got a whole bunch of work to do that's not in this factory because we're very nearly at the end of this phase of the Let's Play. And that means all of these platforms that are floating around this area all need joining to the landscape and making look nice. And as you can see, there's an absolute ton of work to do doing that because this is very low compared to that. So that's going to take me a very long time. And what is also going to take me a very long time is getting everything else done. I need to sort this area out behind our netherite farm and make all of... Oh, we never used those blaze burners, did we? The blaze spawners. Oh well, we'll come back to those. And yeah, all of this area around here where there's just grass is very flat, not very interesting, so I need to sort all of that out as well. And I want to sort out this area around the storage area, which is just flat and grassy. So I've got a bunch of work to do before we get to the end of the next video, and I think now's a good time to start. So I guess it's time to cue that music and start placing a lot of blocks. Oh, geez. So after that little time lapse, I really do feel like I've managed to bring the entire area together a little bit more. I've blended the terrain from the horrible flat platform down as best as I can, throwing down a whole bunch of grass, bone meal and flowers to try and blend it in as best as I could, and variating the sort of depth and shallowness of the terrains and trying to make it look a little bit more natural. At the back of the Inferno building, I extended that, added in a few dead bits, and then blended the sort of muddy, gravelly bit down into the grass, and then we moved on to the emerald farm, where I built a big old cliff wall, because that just felt like the most appropriate way to blend that landscape. For the cliff wall, I used a variation of stone and tuff and andesite, and right at the bottom a little bit of cobblestone, and then I finished all of that off with a whole bunch of leaves dripping down from the sides, because that's an emerald farm and I felt it just didn't feel green enough, and I'm actually really happy with that wall, how it's come out. Moving on from that all the way over to the other side of the area, I finally blended in the land between the storage system and the grass around that, and then I went round just adding a whole bunch of bone meal to places, just adding a few tufts of grass, the odd flower here and there, before going on to the railways, smoothing out the area around the liquid storage building. Finally, we built those cliffs before we even moved into this area, and it's taken me all this time to smooth them out and throw a little bit of variation in the gravel in there, and some grass as well. And I extended that all the way around the liquid storage building, making the train track feel a whole bunch nicer and more natural. I added a little patch of dirt and a little pond as well, which I threw in some seagrass and some lily pad variations, a little bit of reeds. Moving on from that, I decided why not make some custom trees. So the main strip of our road going all the way from one side to the other has all of these trees. They're exactly the same shape as each other, but I've used a variation of leaves using the trowel so that they were randomized, and I think that gives them sort of a almost a little bit more natural feel. Some of the leaves are a little bit dark, some are a little bit bright, but I think it kind of works. Again, bone mealing around those just to make things feel a little bit more rough and not quite so perfect, and that moves us all the way down to the other end of the platform, near to our diamond building that we're building, and just sorting out the roads over here. Again, a few more grass tufts to blend everything together. Going over to the emerald farm, I decided I wanted to just make sort of a muddy path through the field here, add in some sort of meadowy grass, a bunch of flowers, and the grass is a little bit taller in the middle of the fields and a bit shorter nearer the path and near the edges, and I think that kind of works. I really like that area. It reminds me of sort of a field in the countryside where you might walk your dog, or, you know, go to an emerald farm and kill lots of pillagers like you do. So that's all of the things I have done, but what I haven't done still is the back of the hotel. That still leaves a whole lot to be desired. I'm still not 100% sure what to do there, other than maybe just blend it in the terrain. And also the main grounds of the storage system. I've done absolutely nothing there. Again, I don't really know what I want to do with that. I kind of feel like I want something going on, but it's also a really sort of clean building with really straight edges, so just leaving the grass nice and flat might be the way to go. So if you've got any ideas for that, throw them in the comments and let me know. So after those 4.5 hours worth of terraforming, we must have a whole bunch of things over at our diamond farm now that's been producing, so let's check it out. What have we got? We've got a lot of gold, and we've got a lot of mud, and we've got a handful of dead bushes, so this is going to be a very slow diamond farm. One other thing I have done is just to double up all of these things, because we just weren't getting through the sand quick enough, turning it into the terracotta and the red sand. So yeah, I've just doubled up all of these and added more of them into there, so we've got absolutely no cobblestone left at all now, or gravel, or sand, or terracotta, or red sand. It's all going into gold. And a couple of dead bushes. But that's not the only thing I want to check out, because right at the beginning of this video we were fiddling with our copper farm, and I really want to see how that's been getting on, because, well, after we fixed the cobblestone generator at Hill Valley, I've still got no cobblestone in my inventory. So that copper farm must have been eating it all. Let's go find out. Have you eaten all my cobblestone? There's no cobblestone in here. We've got a whole lot of diorite now, though. We've got no andesite in here. What? It's eaten all of my andesite too. I had loads of oh, jeez. We've got a lot of tuff, though, and we still... I don't think that's actually moved at all since this morning, maybe slightly. So where's all my cobblestone and my andesite going? Oh, I bet I know where it is. I bet the Create factory's eaten it all, turning it into brass. It has. We've finally got 2048 brass now. That means everything in here is finally filled up to the max. But I still don't understand why we've got no cobble and no andesite. You can see the andesite's ticking up. So something's using it. But what?